Hello and welcome to the Data Break Podcast, episode 30 for the week of August 14th, 2015. I'm your host, James Lee, and with me today we have three very special people with me in our TeamSpeak. We have Max Lee.
Hello.
Taylor Kelsey.
Hey.
And Ravenstorm Labarkin.
Hey there.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hi, James.
Hi.
Okay.
James shy all of a sudden.
Oh,
hey guys, I didn't
James,
see you there.
James, notice me.
Boy.
Co-host, notice me.
Notice me. Notice me, co-host.
Oh my god. I've been just fine. I've been playing some new games recently. I got my gaming PC back.
Oh.
Yay.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to see it again. And I have a 23-inch monitor from a few years, I think 2009.
Okay.
23-inch monitor. It's a nice. It's HD. It does 60 hertz, but it can't keep up, and it just gives me such a smug joy to know that the fact that my computer is running at like hundreds of frames per second, and it's just like, oh no, can only do 60. It's too bad.
Yeah, I can't wait. We need people to start making IPS 144 Hz monitors because they have the 1440p IPS 144 Hz monitors, but those are really pricey and.
I honestly don't understand. I think 144 is nice. 120 is okay.
Well, I can't see a difference. Okay, wow, someone's gonna kill me now because I just said I couldn't see the difference between 144 and 120. But
I'm on my way.
Yeah. But I have a 144 Hz monitor, but I switched for a while to Light Boost, NVIDIA Light Boost, which is like a blur reduction feature, but the trade-off is that you limit your monitor to 120 Hz.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I liked that. I liked it. I liked the
Light Boost is good.
Light Boost, yep.
Yeah. I might switch back to it again. I'm because I did a ton of things this week, which I'll talk about in a sec. But long story short, I'm back on 144 Hz raw, and it's like I guess I'm too lazy to see the difference, to discern the difference.
Okay.
Well,
I understand.
At higher frame rates, there's going to be, the law of diminishing returns. You're not going to see that much of a difference when you go higher. So.
Well, not to mention the fact that you also it's harder for me to run games at over 144 frames per second. So.
Also, can we discuss how? Oh, you guys are cutting out bad.
Oh, it's just you. It's just you.
Okay.
I heard James cut out on my end as well. So.
That's just the activation on TeamSpeak. I'm going to adjust that later, but in the meantime.
All right.
However, what was I going to say? What were we on topic? What was
144 Hz, 120 Hz monitors.
I was going to ask what. Okay, so I had the privilege of owning an Asus ROG Swift for a while.
Asus ROG Swift.
Asus, yeah.
Asus
ROG Swift.
Asus.
Excellent monitor. Probably it is a piece of art that just moves. It's beautiful.
It was industry. It was actually like an industry changer because it was the first monitor that was 144 Hz, but also high resolution, 2560 by 1440. Mm-hmm. And now you see these monitors just popping up everywhere. You see 144 Hz. 1440p monitors just popping up every week, literally.
It's like the Arch's prevalence over the Post and Lintel. It's just a better thing, and everyone wants it. It's just better. There's no question.
Arch.
No one's gonna be a hipster about being. But that's what I'm about to ask. So I'm dealing with a 60 frames per second 1080 by 1920.
How is it? Not good?
It's just fine.
It's just fine?
It's totally fine. And it's not only fine, it's great. I'd say it's great. And that is because it's perfectly suitable for what my eye can handle. My field of view is roughly 23, 24 inches at that distance. Mm-hmm. So I can focus my eyes sharply on everything on the screen at the same time, sort of. Mm-hmm. Less reliance on peripherals. The detail on the screen is fantastic.
Colors are good.
There's no perceptible frame skipping. Like, okay, I know the biggest difference between 144 and 60 is dragging windows around.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know how when you
love doing
drag
that.
windows around.
Yeah.
On a normal computer, it kind of like it gives you a bunch of skippy frames of the window.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
know.
You see it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you
Okay.
drag your mouse around really fast, you see like
Right.
multiple instances of your mouse.
It just it sort of eliminates that.
Yeah.
The persistence of vision is better.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
while I have to say that that's cool and everything, I personally have to bring. Okay, do you mind if I go on a tangent, or are we really on?
This is
limited time?
Tangent City.
Okay, so I don't like watching movies at 60 hertz.
Okay.
I don't like watching movies at 60 hertz. It feels unnatural to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't capture movement the way my brain understands it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And while it is sharper, crisper, clearer, and this is good for playing a game
Mm-hmm.
where you need to be accurate and on target and everything,
Right.
it's not great for anything else, pretty much. I'd rather have something shot at like theatrical 27
24.
point whatever or 24 point something frames per second, so it's with your eye.
Yeah.
I'd rather have games that could render that. If games could render that accurately, then we wouldn't need high frame rates.
Well,
that would be obsolete.
The reason. So, have you guys ever watched like a 60 FPS YouTube video or something
Yes.
like that?
It's very fast.
It looks very smooth, and then you play a game at 60 frames per second, and you're like, this doesn't look as smooth as the YouTube video. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because when YouTube is playing that video, it is syncing with your monitor absolutely perfectly to the second at 60 frames per second. Whereas when you're playing a game, it is rendering those frames at impartial timings. So, like, it's like 1/2 a frame instead. So that's what creates like the motion blur and all that. I believe that's what G-Sync, I think, and FreeSync try to solve. With like their adaptive sync. So like if what I've heard from G-Sync actually is that it does that, and like what it really helps with is where it's really useful is where you're running a game at, say, you're playing like at like 60 frames per second or whatever, or like 120, and then an explosion occurs, and then you get a drop down to 40. Like normal, like 40 is still playable. It's still playable, right? By pretty good standards. Like I like to keep my frames, like if I'm playing a really tough to run game, like 45 and above is fine for me. But that drop from 120 to 40 is terrible. It looks so bad. But thanks to
I understand.
but the adaptive sync makes the monitor refresh it, like turn its refresh rate from 120 to 40, and then but it still looks smooth. And that's the reason why 24 frames per second looks good when in film and all that, as opposed to in game.
Okay, that is actually really interesting information.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that as far as, like Max said, diminishing returns, and that's something that has come up on this podcast over and over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's really diminishing. Like I have kind of a bad reference too, because I have this HP laptop. I don't even know if it has a model number or anything. It's really generic. It cost me $250.
Sure. Some off the shelf Best Buy thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's below. I think it's just above 720p. It's
1366 by 768. It's an infamous resolution. No laptop should be 15.6 inches and have a 1366 by 768 resolution. It looks really bad.
It is bad. Okay, yeah. So, and it doesn't run anything at any frame rate, not even Terraria.
Wow. Well, that's actually really impressive because it's 2D.
Yeah, it's bad. So I have a bad reference. And
okay.
Honestly, bad is operable. I would play games at this bad resolution, at this bad frame rate. No, at 30 frames per second. At 60 frames per second, I'd play it at this resolution.
Yeah.
Definitively.
Okay.
I could play Counter-Strike just fine.
Okay.
Probably I could definitely play it better on my 1080. I could definitely play it better on the 1440, the ROG
Yeah.
Swift,
Yeah.
but it's like as long as I have a screen, I'm already playing at 95%.
Yeah.
You know, a screen
yeah.
and my
yeah,
peripherals,
yeah.
my mechanical, and the nice mouse, right?
And like let's like I mean, to be fair, you were you stopped playing games entirely for a good while, so you were starting
Yes.
from zero.
Right, well, I'm starting from zero. But the thing is that I played games for a long time, and I do remember,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, what is good. I have reference.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And just in my opinion, I think that we shouldn't be really trying to push in that direction with monitors. What I'd like to see is something more like, you know how a Kindle Paperwhite works?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want like a color
that,
version?
but colored and 60 frames per second.
I
That
think
could
I
be
think
wonderful.
the Pebble Time. If you've been keeping up with like the weird gadgets and stuff, like the Pebble Time does color now. Apparently, it's not that good though. The Pebble Time has some issues, but
Right.
we're slowly heading there.
I think that sort of display is really nice. I got to use a Kindle Paperwhite for a bit, and honestly, I like looking at it more than I like looking at basically any other screen ever. It's
Paper?
really,
Better than paper?
really nice. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
At a certain distance.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
It's just because the resolution's not good enough yet.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
But once the resolution gets to the point where I can't distinguish, like Retina, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Retina, Paperwhite, that will supersede paper, in my opinion.
Okay. I actually do want to pick up a Kindle very soon because I need to read. I like to read, but I just don't. I don't.
I
wanna
recently
carry
read
books around.
Cloud Atlas, and it was okay. It was 8.5 decent. I'm
We start talking
writing
about books now?
I'm reviewing. I'm writing reviews for my website.
This is the Data Book podcast.
The data book, yeah. All
I
right, but anyway.
actually had a lot
Sorry.
of ideas for spin-offs for the podcast. There was the Data Broke podcast where we talk about cheap things. There was
I like that one.
By spin-offs, you just mean puns.
There's the Data Baked. There was the Data Baked
Oh my
podcast,
God.
which
On board. Don't
Data
finish
Baked-
that sentence.
Data Baked podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
That's already happening.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
I'm so tired for it.
We're so tired. And then I have a couple other things. Okay, but
Data Break podcast where we just talk about brakes on cars.
yeah.
Dude.
Oh,
God
nice,
dang it.
nice,
Dude,
nice.
that would be the break data.
No, that's where we talk about Tesla basically, right? For hours on end.
Data Blake podcast where we only talk about people named Blake.
I know like 3 of those, dude.
Three.
Talk about that all day.
I like know 3 Blakes.
The Data Blade
We'd have-
podcast where we talk about knives.
Or the movie Blade.
For the movie Blade, yeah.
How far does this go? Data Braid podcast?
The Data Bait podcast where we just troll 4chan all day.
Oh my god.
Okay, listen.
I'm the guy who makes up puns and
Is
I
it
can't think
just
of
me?
anything.
Is it just me, or is 4chan more of a terrorist than ISIS is?
You're wrong.
It's a joke.
Alright, we're talking about books, guys. I read
Yeah. Okay,
Nine
so
Stories by J.D. Salinger.
believe it or not,
Really?
I actually have topics this week.
Oh, really?
We
Yeah.
have topics in this show?
Yeah. One of which is where I talk about Windows 10, which I am currently running on both my desktop and my laptop. I kind of complained about it for a while. Google Alphabet, there's huge restructuring. Halo rated T for teens, which means all the cool all the
We're
cool
still
kids
teens, guys.
could,
We can play it.
yeah.
Okay.
Lenovo tries to
next
pull
year,
some Lenovo tries to pull some more shenanigans on us, which is not good. Resident Evil 2 is getting a remake. I just want to get your thoughts on that later. Drone Racing League receives a $1 million investment from the Miami Dolphins owner.
Oh.
That sounds sounds pretty cool. Taylor, you want to talk about Twitch plays Dark Souls?
Dark Souls, yes.
How dank.
Yeah. And I think we had another topic. I forget. Right.
ESL with the
ESL anti-doping policy, so drug testing in esports. That's kind of cool to talk about. Yeah. So I guess we'll start with Windows 10. Are any of you guys running it yet?
Nope.
I'm going to be once I get another hard drive.
Okay. Not a bad idea.
They just let me know, hey buddy, we'll get it for you. Just wait.
Oh yeah.
I'll
You
wait
could
forever.
you could force the download, by the way.
You know, if they say no, it's a no, man.
No,
Don't force
well,
it.
you could force. Well, no, as in like, oh god.
latent rape joke. Okay. Nice.
Oh
It's
jeez.
an anti-rape joke. If you heard what I said.
That's true. That's database. It's the database. Oh
God
jeez.
damn it, Max.
Jailbait.
Finally,
Oh.
I made the pun for that.
Okay, so
Sorry, guys. Late
Sorry.
before we apologize.
Good job,
His views
everyone.
and opinions does not express the opinions of the Database podcast.
or its owners or affiliates.
He's only 25%.
Yep.
25%
true.
of the podcast.
So I spent last weekend, literally basically half of Saturday last weekend playing, installing Windows 10 and basically kind of just throwing things over my desk, getting mad at it. No, not really. What is that sound?
I'm sorry.
All good. So yeah, installation went pretty smoothly, but after I installed it, after the software was on my solid state drive, everything just started kind of falling apart because drivers weren't working. Like my wireless driver wasn't picking up 5 gigahertz signals, which if you're gaming, really bad, you really need.
Yeah.
Good sounds. Good Foley
Paper.
work here.
What are you getting out?
What are you talking about?
We
Paper.
hear all your sounds.
I'm throwing this away. Listen. Throwing
I
the
didn't
paper
hear
away.
anything.
Kobe.
It's okay.
Kobe.
Yeah, it was flawless.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for bringing extra attention to it, guys.
I know.
All right, come on.
It's all right. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Windows 10. So drivers kind of broken, but I feel like a lot of the hardware manufacturers weren't really ready for Windows 10, which is really dumb because they had access to the preview for literally a year before Microsoft released the OS.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the preview has been out for a while.
Well, that's shitty.
Yeah, I know. Other weird things. Well, first of all, it's really smooth. It's really fast. I accidentally broke my install because I wanted to change the login background.
Yeah.
That was fun. I can't I've been using it for a week, and I honestly don't really see a difference in my day-to-day tasks. There are a couple things that I don't like about it, like multi-monitor support has been it just went a step backwards from Windows 8. Like it's a lot
Really
harder.
weird.
It's a lot harder to manage multiple monitors. Like I can't change desktop backgrounds for different monitors for some reason. And then my tray is kind of it's all collapsed now. I used to have my tray so it would show all the icons onto the taskbar, if you know what I mean. Like
I
the
know
little
what you mean.
Wi-Fi one, the sound ones, super cool thing I like though. Things I like about it. There's a notifications menu from your phone, but
Hey,
for Windows.
that's just an excellent. That they took that in the right direction with the mobile and desktop integration when they said they want the same experience on all your devices.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
thought,
good thing. It
I
came from the phone.
that was something good came out of that finally. The start menu is now a menu and not an entire screen, so it doesn't take up all your space. It's kind of
Thank
cool.
God.
It's good, but the bad thing is that for some reason, I feel like they forgot to add things from Windows 8 back to Windows 10. They oh, whoops, we forgot about that. It's as if they forgot about it. I don't know what's going on with them. Because I was trying to search for to launch applications because it used to be in Windows 8. You would just press the start button and then just type whatever program you wanted to launch and press enter and it would launch. But
I know about that. That's how I got this TeamSpeak open.
yeah, that's not the case with Windows 10 for some reason. I'll try to type in a program name and then it won't show up. And it's
Get
kinda-
Cortana to do it.
I'll tell Cortana to do it for me. Yeah.
Have you used Cortana?
I have not used Cortana because it's kind of creepy the way they it's always on, and it's just like, I mean, I might turn it on at some point, try it out, but
Would you have to say "Hey Cortana" for it to respond to you?
You could probably or I think you just say Cortana, because in the case of Google, like Google, you say "Hey Google," or no, it's "Okay Google," and that's the activation phrase to like start voice search in Google for Google's stuff.
Right.
Cortana isn't a word people just say all the time. Google is something people say all the time. Hey is something people people say all the time. Or okay is something people say all the time. Google is something people say all the time, but not the two together. And Cortana is like used much less often than that. So I think you could just say Cortana, and then
That's good.
it's not like you're gonna accidentally activate Cortana by like, you know who's my favorite character in Halo?
Cortana!
Oh wait, hold on, no, no, I don't.
Talking about me.
Yeah. How you talking some shit?
I heard everything.
Yeah. No, but
It'd
no.
just be funny if there's someone on the other side, just on the phone, just waiting to fuck with you.
That's me. That's me. Yeah. No, that's not the case. Yeah, I haven't tried Cortana out yet. Maybe later. Maybe after the podcast, I'll try it out. Other than that, Windows 10's pretty solid. It's fast. It's functional. So you shouldn't, other than my specific problems, you shouldn't have any issues installing Windows 10.
What level are you in Candy Crush?
0, because I unpinned that from the start menu. I think I uninstalled it at this point. I could check.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not there. It's not there anymore. You can uninstall it. So
it's
yeah,
pretty much
so
crapware.
Yeah.
Are we going to segue or are we not?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. I was talking about Google earlier, and so this is really weird. I don't know if you guys want or I can completely understand it just from me describing it to you. If you guys go to abc.xyz, you'll come up with a page for Google, and basically Google's doing some massive restructuring.
What?
XYZ.
I'm gonna go.
It's really funny too, actually, because .xyz is the legitimate.
Oh, there's infinite. What are they called? Domain names?
I don't know if it's infinite in domain names, but like there's way more than there used to be, and XYZ is one of them. It's funny because the first use of XYZ I've ever seen was from the show Silicon Valley, which, by the way, great show, really funny. Where the fake company that's basically Google in the show, called Hooli, created a website called Hooli.xyz, and they beat Google to the punch. The parody beat Google to the punch. It was really funny. They called it Google. They called it Hooli.xyz. It's a pretty funny site.
So what's up with Alphabet?
So yeah, Alphabet is basically going to be the umbrella for Google and all of the companies Google owns, basically.
It's basically so they can have overarching control over several smaller companies, so they can all do their own thing, I think, and be sort of independent. Like News Corp owns a lot of stuff, Kraft owns a lot of stuff. They're just like one of those, but they're the first technology company to really go that far, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's
All
just
right.
their step into official mega corporation zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really funny
I wanna
because
live in a
like
Google Nation.
people you know that's a funny quote, because I remember reading a fake article in Deus Ex Human Revolution where it was like where someone was speculating that people will no longer identify themselves under countries or ethnicities. They'll identify themselves under their
Branding.
favorite corporations. And
Makes sense.
and you kind of see that today too, because you're like, oh, I'm in the Apple ecosystem, or I'm a Microsoft.
disgust me.
Like I play Windows. I'm on Windows stuff all the time, or I don't know, I'm on Android stuff all the time. I guess you got a Chromebook and an Android phone. I guess I'm not sure. But you're starting to see that anyways. So I just thought that was interesting. But my point
we'll get
was
there eventually.
yeah. But my point was is that people were always puzzled, like, wow, I didn't know that Toshiba makes motorcycles and microwaves in addition to my TV and computer.
Samsung makes tanks.
Samsung makes tanks. LG makes hotels and food.
Google owns every robotic company in the world.
Do they really?
Can I say
They're
something
working
about
on it.
Can I say something about the Samsung thing?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
In Korea, the big companies, Samsung, LG, whatnot, they are super mega corporations. They own, like, it's not just Samsung is making things. Samsung has also its hotels, its malls, its theme parks. So does LG. They own pretty much every single industry in the country. So
We're moving out of the state of nations being ruled by kings and bureaucrats, and we're moving into like this sort of odd consequence of domestic diplomacy, just the nation state being replaced by the corporation and the consumer economy.
merchants starting at the bottom, now at the top of the world.
Yep.
This has been Data Bureaucrat. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Not even a
No,
pun.
no. Hey.
Hey.
Banned from making puns.
Banned from it. I've been banned from making puns apparently. But yeah, so it's like but it's kind of similar in the United States where you see single corporations. It doesn't look like it, but like Kraft owns like a ton of food companies. Coca-Cola owns like a ton of drink companies. And it's just like, oh wow, look at all these, all these different brands there are, but they're all kind of owned by, one single corporation, large corporation. But I digress. This is just this Google restructuring thing is just another. It's just basically that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Moving on.
It's interesting to be growing up in this time and watching this progress, because I'm gonna say I'm saving this page and it's HTML format, just so I can show people in like 30 years, like, hey, I was here when this happened.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Remember when Google was just a search engine?
Yep.
None of us do.
Well,
I do.
We're alive for that, were we?
No. I remember using Google to just search things, and that was it. Although
My
I
mom liked Yahoo better.
it's
They would
okay. It's okay because my parents used AOL.
Do you know that Grateful Bread? Have I told you about this?
No.
They elbowed me off the web design thing.
Oh no.
Nepotism prevailed.
Nepotism.
Yeah, it's okay. Go on. Let's move on with this.
Okay, so yeah, we'll move on. That was kind of a boring topic, but
Yeah, for sure.
Halo is rated T for teen. Does anyone care?
I'm
I think-
surprised it hasn't happened sooner.
Why are you surprised?
Well, actually, no, never mind. I'm not surprised. All right,
Okay.
you two talk first.
I
and then
win.
I'll say something.
Okay, I've been playing these games, the higher rated ones, since I was like 6 years old. Okay,
Okay.
it doesn't encourage violence. It doesn't desensitize you to violence, or it really doesn't.
That's a topic for a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a
episode.
whole-
No,
that's
they're
a whole
already
other
they're
thing.
already like the most mild M-rated games ever.
I
So
Yeah.
even as a
and-
kid, I thought like I remember playing Halo on my friend's Xbox when I was like 6, and then
and feeling like really.
I'm gonna date myself there too, but like, and I was like, why is
We're
this rated
19,
M?
dude. Like dating yourself doesn't exist. We're too young for that.
I know.
Can't feel old.
No, you're dating. No, like you're dating yourself as in you're telling people how young you are. You're not telling people how old you are.
As in you're banging a clone of yourself.
Wait, what?
Carbon dating. I'm carbon dating myself. But yeah, like
Her too.
6-year-old me was confused as to what made this game such a mature game. There's the captain dude who said hell and damn like 2 or 3 times. And
Right.
I'm sure for 6-year-old me, I thought that was some pretty
Edgy.
intense, edgy language there. They didn't say that in my household, but other than that, I didn't sense any, like, I didn't see any reason why there was violence. It was rated M.
I didn't really either. A lot of I just think that the ESRB ratings. I think the PEGI ratings are better, but the ESRB ratings are kind of based in a kind of weird post-puritanical values. I don't know how to say it other than that.
Yeah.
Like how nudity or like suggestive anything puts
Instant,
something instantly M.
instant M.
Whereas you can like be chopping heads, murdering people, and it can be teen. And like the gravity of these things is just not considered at all, really. And in like, I don't know.
It's a shame that because we're in possession of the most powerful, apparently the most dangerous weapons known to society. Nipples. Memes.
Yeah.
Memes are the most dangerous weapon in society. But no, it's like what's worse than guns and blood and guts? Nipples.
It's nipples, obviously.
It's nipples.
Indeed.
What?
All right. So,
well, because
all right. So, are we still talking about Halo, or are we talking about nipples?
We're talking about
Ravenstorm just always wants to talk about society.
from A to Z, from
dude,
Halo to nipples.
I don't have anyone to talk about this to. Like, it's just like I exist alone with my thoughts. So like being able to say things, just it's nice.
It's nice.
I'm trying to make a data break.
Okay.
Data break pun about society, but it's not working out.
All right. So, okay. The reason why the old Halos, at least up to 3, were rated M.
Flood, right?
Or because of the flood, yeah. Because the flood were
Pretty
these
gory.
disgusting zombie things in which flesh of people. Okay, basically, you play Dead Space. It's basically like the lighter version of Dead Space in terms of what the zombies are. So that was why it got rated M there.
I think definitively things that would terrorize younger children, like Dead Space. That's a good reason to rate it M, because it's just going to be trouble
to
for
tell
the family.
kids just like that's not
yeah,
because
this is not for you.
I mean, like, I don't know how what your guys' experiences with scary movies are as young children, but like, like, I would probably say that scary movies probably had a bigger impact on me than video games, because like, I'd be scared of like, I don't know.
I understand. I understand what you mean. Like
Claustrophobic hallways.
You check behind the shower curtain,
Yeah, that's
every time.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I had a recurring nightmare about Jurassic Park for like the first 10 years of my life.
There we
Really?
go. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
dinosaurs. Huh?
So like there are reasons, like there are just things like Dead Space that I think would not agree with kids in any way, shape, or form, and those things
or
should
with
have
older
higher
people
ratings.
Like,
yeah.
And we're not talking about just Dead Space is just like gore
Sequences
and zombies.
of terror.
It's meant to be scary though.
Like,
Yeah,
well, it's like psychological.
fun shooty time.
There's a psychological horror element in Dead Space that people
Like
don't.
imagine exposing like a 7-year-old kid to like Silent Hill playable teaser.
Oh god.
Christ. Oh god.
Okay, and just like letting them like pick it up like it's just a normal.
No, throw
fun
a
video
VR
game,
headset on them. Throw a
Yeah,
VR
yeah,
headset.
You want to
basically.
kill them?
Yeah, exactly,
Well,
exactly. Like that's just not. It's
Yeah.
not appropriate for that age.
Yeah.
And there's an age I think where when kids come around to like when they can actually sort of make their own choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Have you scientifically come up with this age?
Huh?
Have you
Well, I think it's
scientifically
case
come
by
up with
case.
this
It's
age?
probably case
No,
by case.
not at all.
It's
But
case by case,
I
I'm
just
sure.
mean it's a sense. It depends on how the kid was raised. But there's a point when they can definitively distinguish fantasy from reality. And yeah.
I was listening to many years back. I was listening to the Maximum PC No BS podcast, and this editor in chief or senior editor, deputy editor. That's what it was. Gordon Ma Ung was asked, "What was a good age to let my kid play violent video games?" And like because he's a dad, he's like a father of like a few children, 2 children, 3 children. I'm not sure. He has children, multiple children, and like his answer was basically, when they're old enough to realize it's just a game, and that's
a good measure.
That's
I
probably
think.
a good time for them, yeah. Because it's just like, oh yeah, it's just pixels on a screen. Yeah, that was okay. Cool.
Oh well.
Discussion on ratings.
Well, the other Halos, because I wasn't completely finished. Like Halo Reach didn't have the flood, but it did have civilian deaths and your comrades just being killed randomly out of nowhere. So, and that also got an M rating. What do you think about that? Because it doesn't have the same horror element, but it was still rated M.
Violence, yeah. I think it's because The interesting thing about horror is if you notice, like a lot of horror movies take place in like completely normal suburban households, and that's one of the reasons why it's easy to make it horror, because like in a war zone, it's like, yeah, violence is expected, but not in a suburban neighborhood, in a quiet suburban neighborhood. That's why they're such popular settings for horror movies.
What about how? I'm
trying to find a counterexample.
I was, but I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
I think that's a good point.
So that's why civilian deaths specifically.
Halo always felt like a T game to me. So it's that now that it's actually T, does not make that big of a difference. Being rated T allows it to be a bigger audience, parents, younger kids.
Well, M-rated games do sell a ton. Like some games, if they were rated T, they would not sell as much as if they were rated M.
I think that's just kind of like a product of like taste or how like games have gone popular. Because when people think of like a mainstream game, what do you think of?
When you think of fun, you think of M.
Well, no,
for a lot of people that's true.
Like what game is like pop? Like if someone asks like, what's a popular video game out there these days? What would you say?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, right? And what's Call of Duty? It's an M game. Okay, League of Legends is technically a T-rated game if you bother to check the website.
It's not fun though.
I disagree.
I know you do. It's okay. I'm just giving you shit.
Okay, so yeah, so I think another element is that the first person. I actually wonder how a first person element like add.
Because it's technically more real.
It's technically more real. Adds more.
Even though you're shooting purple aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly just don't think it matters.
Also,
I think that like it depends on the type of violence. I think when you said your comrades are getting killed, that does have a greater gravity, and I think that senseless violence, a la Gears of War. You guys played that?
I've played all three.
I've seen footage.
Games.
And I definitely know how that could be.
It's just like run and gun, shoot 'em up. It's
a lot
like,
of blood, yeah.
It's just, but it's like it's blah. It's bland. It's like it's like an arcade game, you know. It's expanded on rails. But something like that is different than like a game where it's like you get attached to a character and then they die, and then that's like it's a different sort of violence at that point, you know. It's more
personal. It's on a personal level,
right? And I think that does deserve a higher rating, because with run and gun, it's like it is just a game. You score points, you get enemies. It's like killing a pawn in chess. It's like no big deal.
Yeah.
But when it's like when you get attached to something like in a role-playing game and it dies, and it's just like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ever so slightly more heavy.
On a side note, have you guys, I'm sure you guys have played Republic Commando by now, like Star Wars Republic Commando.
Yes. Yes.
It was a significantly more gory video game than the Halos were, because you would stab aliens and then the blood would get onto your visor, and then it's almost sadistic, or it's kind of funny actually. Your visor has a little windshield wiper that wipes all the blood away.
That's funny. Dude, that's awesome.
And I think that got a T rating, so I don't know what's up with it. So
I was happy that it had a T rating though. Like
I mean, it's Star Wars. I think it's Star Wars. That's fine.
Yeah,
for me as a kid,
the fact that it's Star Wars.
That was the closest thing I got to Halo, was the multiplayer, playing that with my friends because I was rated T.
Yeah.
And it was basically a Halo copy, like
for sure. At that time. Yeah, pretty arena like. Weapons scattered around the map. Yeah, I actually really liked the Republic Commando multiplayer. Very fun.
I did too. Great.
Okay. Moving on. Lenovo has some more shenanigans. Basically, they're loading crapware onto computers, even if you try to do it. So earlier this year, we mentioned Superfish, which was like a malware that was installed onto Lenovo PCs.
Yeah.
FYI, I own a Lenovo PC, so my laptop was affected, but I did a semi-clean install of Windows, when I got it, so I fixed that. This new Lenovo shenanigan it actually subverts this by hiding in the firmware of the laptop, so it'll install anyways.
What the hell?
Even if you do a clean install. Really scummy by Lenovo. They did remove it. They released an update to remove it, so people aren't as mad. But the fact that they even tried is just kind of really scummy.
What are they trying to do?
They tried to sneak that by, and everyone's like, nah. I'm like, whoops, sorry guys, didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
I feel like all the best minds, as far as that sort of thing is concerned, they're all independent, and I don't think corporations or governments are ever going to get past people. As far as that goes, that's sort of bullshit.
Well, they will try.
They'll try.
They're like, oh, sorry for you have some nice things in your car there. I was just trying to get them. Sorry.
Sorry. Won't happen again. I think.
Whoops. Yep. Sorry. Have a good night.
Resident Evil 2 is getting a remake. I don't know if anyone is. No one cares.
I'm not attached to the series. I've never played the games.
Neither have I. It was just in my news feed. I don't know if you guys.
Well, I mean, like for Resident Evil fans, at least of the originals, like 2 was pretty highly acclaimed, so good for them. But I only played one Resident Evil game, and it was just a spin-off, so I can't have an opinion.
Okay. Did you play the cell phone version that you played on your flip phone?
No, I played the on rails Wii shooter, but that story wise still same as Resident Evil 2, but it's still not the same game, so I can't have an honest opinion.
Got it. Okay. Drone Racing League receives a $1 million investment from the Miami Dolphins owner. This is pretty cool because have you guys ever seen footage of drone racing?
No.
Yes.
No, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's really cool.
How different is it from like remote control?
So because the drones have cameras on them, you can control them in first person, and how you control them in first person isn't on a screen, but people just strap on VR headsets.
Nice.
And then control, and then they
just
wear
lean
them
so hard into being in the future.
Yeah.
Use every piece of technology that we possibly could imagine.
Yeah, like.
Dude, that's like Brave New World sports.
You know what though? I kind of dislike the semantics of the word drone, because drone has gotten a really terrible reputation as far as a word is concerned. Because when people think of drone, they think of U.S. military drones.
Military,
yeah.
When in fact
quadcopters.
Yeah, I prefer the word quadcopters instead. Like
there is
quadcopter
a difference though, isn't there?
What?
Technically,
I believe the definition is basically a flying object with a camera attached to it that's controlled autonomously or remotely.
The camera is the deciding factor.
I think it is.
Pretty much.
So
what about if it's blind? What about if it's blind but it has a bomb? What is it then? Is that just a missile?
It's a terrorist!
You just described a missile, yeah.
Technically...
Okay, cool.
Technically, it wouldn't be a drone, but the thing is, if it's a quadcopter, most people are going to call it a drone just because it has 4 rotors, so...
Predator drones don't have 4 rotors.
Well, I mean, like, your typical consumer so-called drone is a quadcopter, so most people...
Are you saying it's like a buzzword?
It's a buzzword to an extent.
Okay. It's just a word with like it's a word with baggage and like a baggage.
Okay, I see what you mean, and I think that is a valid point.
Yeah,
sure.
But anyway, so basically these people, they set up courses and they race these drones around a track. They use either digital markers or they have cones or flags, like, you know, scattered around in an area, and then they just kind of race around in a track. So I think that's just super cool. And if you've ever watched any
rich
video,
people showing that they're rich.
No, just hobby. Well, no, because drones aren't that expensive. They're not prohibitively expensive. They're certainly in the hobbyist category, but like, I'm sure most people don't spend more than like $1,000 on a drone setup, on like a solid drone setup. I'm
totally gonna do that as soon as possible.
But yeah, so
as soon as time allows.
So people, just like they just fly them in tracks, and it's actually really fun to watch, especially if you get the first person views, because seeing the crashes in first person is even better.
Because that's really cool.
Like, I'm kind of like a really terrible casual spectator, but I really do like watching those crashes in like NASCAR racing. Like I was horrible. As a kid, I got a NASCAR Nintendo 64 game, and the only way I can make that game entertaining was by turning around and trying to find cars to run into head on.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, otherwise it's just turning left. So
yeah, so there's no.
It's funny because in real life, NASCAR is actually pretty interesting. Not like as a game, it's interesting.
Is it like a stat sport? Like
no, dude, it's like it's racing refined down to like just the most basic element. It's like how golf is just ball in hole, just like manifested into refinement.
Ball
That's
in
kind
hole
of what
manifested.
NASCAR is. It's just car is driven manifested, and
Okay.
the turn thing is just to give certain people an advantage with the lines. That's all.
I guess. I feel like F1 and related sports are a bit more exciting.
F1
than
is
just NASCAR.
way better. It's way better because it's interesting.
Because
But
the
it's
tracks
just-
are different. That's why.
Well, yeah, but it's like you don't want to play ball in a hole for everything, right?
Guess so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Now this drone racing league has a $1 million investment. I kind of hope we see more coverage of drone sports.
Alternate sports in general.
Alternate
Esports.
sports. Speaking of esports,
oh god.
Esports.
it's the esports section.
That was our esports section intro.
Great
so,
job on that, James.
I'll try to improve it. Anyways,
Oh, God.
esports. We need to get some recordings of Ravenstorm just saying esports for a while. Yeah, so
I can say esports in at least 50 different tonalities. So.
Great.
that'll be fun.
Esports. I'm doing jazz hands. Can you guys tell?
I can hear.
so.
I can
I
hear
can
your
hear the
jazz.
jazz hands.
Flip them closer to the mic.
There is BSL, the Esports League, Electronic Sports League, which is not
Is that
like
what that stands for?
I believe that's what it's
fuck?
for. Yeah. They released their details of their drug testing policies. This is, of course, in follow-up to a bit of controversy involving a former Cloud9 player just basically admitting on like an interview, like, "Oh yeah, all of us were on Adderall during that tournament," and people are like, "Wait, hold on, did he just say Adderall? Did he just say drugs?
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 We're real sports, guys. We're real sports. There's drug issues.
Yeah, it's funny because like drugs isn't really like the biggest threat to at least Counter-Strike. It's hacking that is, and I feel like that's like
Yeah.
that's
Hacking
the
is
drug.
really just cyber drugs.
Yeah, cyber
Yeah.
drugs.
No, but I think never mind.
And then
for
smurfing
it.
is like holding your kid back a few grades so you could play in Little League.
I hope no one ever does
Yeah.
that. Sounds
Oh my
horrifying.
god. That's terrible.
But yeah, so after that interview, that was a former Cloud9 player, and people were kind of speculating, like, is he just trying to get back at his former team for kicking him?
He did seem really angry in that.
Did he? Oh, that's interesting.
It's just like I just read it, but this is
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. That's kind of what he said.
It's worth noting that Cloud9, the team that that player did admit to taking Adderall, that team did really poorly during that tournament.
Yeah.
So obviously the Adderall didn't help, or maybe it was just their lack of skill.
It's just because everyone's taking Adderall, so the Adderall doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like a lot of like you'll hear from a lot of veteran esports players from way back in the Quake days. Like everyone was on like Ritalin or whatever, or some form of mind enhancing drug. But now
I just kind of wonder, like, honestly, if these people are going to do that, isn't everyone going to do that? Like
that's the argument, right? So I mean, in an attempt to just even the playing field and just make things easier for everyone and just take care of this.
Cutting out.
You just gotta give everyone Adderall and caffeine.
ESL is now distributing alcohol.
Microdoses of LSD.
Well, I'm always a proponent of having a sports league where you just encourage people to take drugs and just see how insane it is.
The thing is, that I have too. But I just feel like it's going to happen, and I feel like instead of just because someone's going to cheat, and because they're monitoring it so heavily, I feel like that person is just naturally going to win, like Lance Armstrong, There's going to be a Lance Armstrong thing. Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying exactly that, but I'm saying if they try to restrict it too hard, someone's going to cheat, someone's going to get by, and they're going to win unfairly.
So the details of the drug testing policy is that they're going to be testing randomly. It's just going to be like a saliva swab, basically. And I don't think there's much more than that. And then they have a list of drugs that they're testing for, which of course does include Adderall. And then so that's basically the extent of their drug testing. And
a step into legitimacy for esports, as sad as that is. Weird benchmark that is for legitimacy is that people are trying to take whatever edge they can.
Yeah. Yep. And honestly, I'm like, do you think it's good that people are trying to make esports like a real sport?
The money's pretty damn
good. The money's good.
Did you see the international?
Well, let's talk about that in a little bit. But I'm not sure if I would almost rather. To be honest, I don't want ESPN covering esports. I'd rather have there be just a separate network that covers esports. Instead of ESPN, just because it's a sport. Because ESPN basically covers anything that's a sport, right? Well,
I don't.
Most mainstream sports, right?
I feel like it's too mainstream to even be interested in the esports thing. I think that's going to emerge on its own and just sort of keep its niche crowd. We're all in the crowd, but it's kind of niche.
It is. I would admit that. I will tell you that next weekend is ESL 1 Cologne. Counter-Strike tournament, major Counter-Strike tournament, and there's actually tickets. You can actually buy tickets to watch the finals in a theater. So, I think I'll be participating. But
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's like $15. Check your city. I think there's a couple locations in Sacramento, Taylor, if you want to check it out.
It's $15.
It's Natomas though, so it's far away.
Ugh,
Yeah, other side.
Natomas is not that far away.
From you.
If it's the Truxell Road Theater, that's a really nice theater.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's actually it. Yeah.
Ooh. Gotta have it.
It's actually kind of a debate for me because I could go to downtown Merced and watch it, but I don't get I don't have all my friends on TeamSpeak with me watching with me. So it's kind of a balance. I'll
cop out.
It's a toss up as to whether I.
Dude, okay, if we all get 3 smart devices each, okay,
and then be the most assholes in the theater ever,
dude,
just talking to each other.
Dude, we'd all quietly sit and watch the movie on Skype together, and whenever we'd say something, everyone would and then we could respond we're all there,
we could just text. We could just text.
No, please no. Oh yeah, the screens would be fucking insanely bright. Never mind.
Yeah,
that's a bad
You just
idea.
noticed.
I just considered that. I was like, wait, is there a reason we don't text in theaters?
Yes.
And
yes, there is.
Turns out, yep. Taylor.
But with the drug thing, expect a rise in a lot of players suddenly having ADHD.
Oh yeah, because
weird prescription. Oh look, I have ADHD.
Right. So
now I have this prescription.
One of the things is that if you have a legitimate prescription from a doctor, doctors know they'll let you slide.
Mike's cut out.
Your mic keeps cutting out.
I hope it's not cutting on your end.
It's not cutting out on my end, as far as I'm concerned. Right. It's just it's just TeamSpeak's low activation. That's just it.
Okay, but getting an ADHD prescription, like,
it's actually
it's like every other person in the United States has ADHD because that's how much that they're diagnosed over here. So
the
person could easily get one.
It's classified as such like a nebulous cloud of
it often
symptoms.
Describes just how little kids act.
Yeah,
it describes how normal people are.
Yeah.
They
don't. I don't like doing boring things. You must have ADHD.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Can't. Yeah. Okay. It's Soma or whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever dystopian drug of choice.
Is that your second Brave New World references podcast?
Dude, yeah.
Do you like Brave New World?
I don't know why, but it's just come up a couple times because
it's a good book.
It's worth noting that. It's worth noting that in Europe, ADHD rates are a lot lower, and I don't think that's because ADHD diagnosis rates are a lot lower. And I'm sure it's not because kids are more prone to having ADHD in the United States, but rather there's just a lot of overdiagnosis in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of kids in like schools taking it, like in like universities and even high schools taking Adderall for just to do just to finish their project at the end of the year. Because they were lazy, but
because they want good grades.
Yeah, they
want to go to college and get a career.
Yeah, that's about right.
What evil kids!
No, that's another discussion entirely. But it is a lot harder to get prescriptions in Europe. So, like, where Adderall here is basically gone to the point where I have back problems. Please give me medical marijuana. It's the only thing that will fix it. It's
also ESL banned weed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically, if you don't, if you show up, they won't let you go if you. They won't let you compete if you show up high to the tournament.
Why would Why was that ever in question?
Honestly, right. Yeah.
Why was that ever in question? Who thought
it was? No, they're drug testing for marijuana. That's what I'm saying.
Are they actually like doing a piss in a cup? Because last I checked, it was just a saliva swab. So I'm not sure how marijuana would show up on it. I wouldn't know, but I'm not sure how marijuana shows up on saliva tests.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the smell.
Well, that's a different issue entirely, I think.
Yeah.
What's next?
Last weekend, a lot of money was given to people singing from their computer playing video games. Of course, I'm talking about Dota 2's The International, hosted in Seattle, Washington. It is Dota 2's championship tournament. And this year it was actually interesting because the United States was good at something.
Wait, what?
Really?
Yeah, Evil Geniuses won the International.
Wow.
America won a MOBA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
Where in most cases in like League of Legends, all the teams were from Asia. Like all the teams who were competing were in Asia.
To be fair, the top 5 of 6 teams were from China, and then EG was the one team that was from America.
Yeah, it's So Dota is really big in China. Dota 2 is really big in China. That's
because there's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money, and honestly, and also like, I'm not sure how the numbers work in China, but apparently their live streaming service, the pro players from China will get hundreds of thousands of viewers daily.
Well, it's a big country, so
yeah, big population. Okay, so yeah, Evil Geniuses won. Do you know how much that team won, Ravenstorm?
Let me. I don't know how.
Take a guess.
I'm gonna take a wild guess. Okay.
Wrong.
Hold on.
No, wait, hold on. I think. Hold on.
Just somewhere along the lines of. I'm gonna guess 11 million. I don't know.
That one team.
That
That's
one
a
team.
lot of money. I don't know. No. Yeah, I guess so.
The prize pool was like 19 million.
The prize pool was 19 million.
I don't know.
Okay, so given that, what do you think now?
Okay. 6 million.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. $6 million.
Seriously, holy.
That's a lot of money for Dota 2.
Ah. Wow.
And a great thing is there's a guy on that team named Sumail, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, he's like 16.
James?
Okay, fine. All right, I'll let you.
He was about to have a big moment.
He's from Pakistan, and he moved to America last year solely for the purpose of being a professional esports player.
Nice.
And he is successful.
He's successful in a year. He's completed the American dream and is a successful esports player.
Nice.
That's
he is
true
now
American
$1.5 million. He's like $1.5 million, I believe.
Is that what the players get, or
is what I think around what his take is.
Okay.
So he's $1.5 million. He's rich and he's 16.
Better than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better than you'll ever be, Taylor.
I'm selling
Go home.
like my Counter-Strike knife so I can have some more money for college. And it's kind of like whatever. Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. Honestly, the amount of dedication or autism that is required is absolutely
God.
amazing.
Oh my god.
Data Bait Podcast, everyone.
Honestly,
my
that's vocal satire. That's the
Triggered.
that's
Oh jeez.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
God, I'm gonna get some angry phone calls. I don't know how they're gonna get my phone number, but they're gonna get.
There's no such thing as bad press, James. As long as you get some people talking about it.
All right.
Someone said retard on a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey James, if they somehow got your number, that means they're probably from a place like 4chan, in which they don't care about you calling them autists or something, because they are.
That's true. There we go.
Like,
4chan's fine.
hey, are
Yeah.
you implying that my disease is debilitating?
You
It's
are
not.
a bundle of sticks.
All right, guys. This is
All right, let's well, moving on. Aside from
I'm sorry, guys, for ruining your
Everything here is the
podcast.
worst.
potentially
No, you made it
potentially
better.
offensive.
You made it much better, man.
Let's go ahead.
It's like, I guess, as you know, we're Counter-Strike players. At least Taylor, Ravenstorm, and I are. Max, you're not playing as much anymore, right?
I haven't opened it in months. Well, technically I did to look at the stickers, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that.
Can
in
I have
a
your
little bit.
skins?
No.
Those skins are nice. I'll talk about that in a bit, the stickers part. But do you think it's time that Counter-Strike gets a large tournament like that?
Hell yes.
I should
Can't
have
wait.
a long time ago.
Taylor?
The thing is, the Dota gets most of their prize money from
The community.
in-game items and
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike just doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm pretty sure we'd get pretty big
yeah.
prize pools if we did that.
Yeah, like,
I just don't know why Valve doesn't want that to happen.
I have a
Valve
theory
is
about
trying
this.
it out with Dota because. Oh yeah, you go ahead. You're probably more developed.
Well, like
Ideas.
I was thinking about this earlier because I don't think that Valve even likes Counter Strike. Like, do you get that feeling? Like, I don't know if you guys do.
I think that it's sort of like a separate thing. You know what I mean? It's like how Team Fortress 2 and Left 4 Dead, they're like separate things.
Mhm.
And Valve has its own. Valve is Steam. Like, that's their main thing. The fact that they make games is now beside the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. They like making
Okay,
money. They don't like
so-
making games.
Right. So these games are really it's just a game. That's all they make. They're like Hasbro, okay? And they make good video games. And I think CS:GO has a lot of potential, and I think that if it gains momentum, if it gets in the limelight for, a little while, then more people will pick up on it and it'll be more profitable, and then it can, pick up speed and be something that's significant. But for now, it's still relatively niche.
Okay.
Niche.
Well, like, I just don't think. Well, first of all, I don't think that Counter Strike in itself is a very press friendly game. Like, even before like the advent of CS:GO, Counter Strike was already generating a ton of controversy. There was a story.
Yeah.
There's a story many years back where a student at a high school made a map of his high school in Counter Strike.
Oh yeah, I heard
Made
it.
it, yeah.
And it
that's
was
funny.
a huge issue. He got expelled. There's a ton of trouble involved.
I thought it was terrorist training.
Yeah, I thought it was terrorist training because he wanted to show up at school, but he just kind of was like, "Hey, let's mess around," because, like it or not, like the game that Valve has made, you are playing as terrorists half the time. Like that,
But
you're trying to
honestly-
blow up
honestly-
something with C4. I mean,
Okay,
of course,
there-
like in the gameplay perspective, and it's just another objective. But from the outside, from any onlooker out there, you're like, that guy's a terrorist. He's playing as a terrorist. Like, the mainstream media is gonna think they're like, these people are role playing as terrorists for money. It just doesn't sound press friendly.
Yeah.
And Dota is just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Magical animal things, yeah. But in Counter-Strike, it's you're terrorists.
So are you trying to argue that they're not giving Counter-Strike as much money because there's terrorists in the game?
That's part of it.
Rename it Schmerrists, and then we'll be fine.
Terror Schmerrists.
They
just name it Potato.
Rampant Schmerrism this year.
Is it like the C4's milk, like filled with like cream cheese or something?
Have you seen the
Counter-Strike for Kids?
Counter-Strike for Kids, yeah.
Oh my god. Yes.
No, I haven't.
It's a Gmod video made quite a few years ago, and it's like a mod for Counter-Strike that just replaces all the sounds with like
and textures.
Yeah, and when someone dies, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take a nap, and it just like plays that sound clip. It just shows how that.
And the C4, and when they say planting C4, they just say planting birthday party.
Happy birthday.
Yay, boom.
But actual quote from someone at Valve said that they have different games, they're trying to treat them differently, not make everything the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they treat us is like the redheaded stepchild.
And Taylor would know best of all.
Mm-hmm.
Best of all.
I'm redheaded.
But well, like, okay, so like the first thing I was talking about was that the game wasn't very press friendly. So yeah, okay, terrorism aside, there's also the very disturbing.
Terrorism aside,
I've been saying a lot of like really really crazy thing aside. Like last time in the live podcast, I said lube aside.
Lube aside was the best one.
But yeah, so like bad press aside, another issue with Counter-Strike is that its community is like, I can't say I like it. It's kind of. It's turned from like, tactical shooter to obsessing over skins and betting.
Oh yeah, that's a real big issue with the Counter-Strike scene. But that's also an issue with the Dota scene, so it's not.
Is it really? I'm not
yes,
familiar
Dota
with
2
Dota.
Lounge exists.
Well, I know Dota 2 Lounge exists, but is it as big of a deal as
Dota 2 Jackpot exists?
Okay, like, well, I don't know, because I don't know how much people obsess over cosmetics in Dota, because
a lot. There's so many more.
Yeah,
there's like 100 characters in like a.
Cutting out.
Cutting out.
Just on my side.
No, I
heard. Yeah, I heard it cutting out as well.
Yeah.
Taylor, are you there?
If you're there, we can't hear you.
I think his mic cut out.
Okay, so to fill in the void.
Yeah, I was waiting for a response from James Lee.
Oh. Okay.
But James Lee didn't respond.
Oh, what? Okay. So what were you saying? I just repeat what you said.
I'm saying that Dota is still a huge the skin market is still a large proponent of that game.
Okay, I don't. Well, okay, so
skin markets aside.
Skin markets aside.
That sounds like that is definitely a sex trafficking term. I'm pretty sure.
God.
Oh God.
I think I know the term.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, because and like I actually had a rant about this earlier. I guess, and I'll just get into this right now because earlier today an update for Counter-Strike was released, releasing team stickers and signatures stickers for the upcoming tournament. And at first I was like really excited. I was like, oh sweet, cool stickers coming out. And then it just hit me that was the most exciting thing to happen in CS:GO in literally months. Like there was nothing more exciting than stupid cosmetics. Stickers. Yeah, and like they're like it sounds even stupider when you're saying, "Oh, what are you excited about for CS:GO?" Stickers.
Okay, but listen.
Yay.
CS:GO is extremely refined. It's extremely competitive. There's a reason why that's the only exciting thing that's happening, because like cockroaches don't evolve more because they're already
But everyone hates cockroaches though.
How much money would you pay to put a sticker on a cockroach?
All right,
$10.
$10,
Deal.
dude.
Give me
$2.99 for the capsule, $1.99 for the key.
Well, here's the thing.
on a cockroach.
Here's the thing though, like
It's my new business.
oh yeah, that's another thing though. Like, one, people are very obsessed about Counter-Strike because there's profit to be made. Because there's a sticker that you could have bought a year and a half ago for $1.50, maybe $2, and now it's worth over $400. Like, people are seeing this and they're like, they're not looking at the game. No, they're not looking at the game at all. They're looking at easy profits, and like it's just there's just a lot of people who are looking at the game solely for the money, and not for like the skill and competitiveness of the game.
Well,
and
fuck
then
those people.
yeah, of course, but that's a large portion of the community, and then the other part is that the game just isn't getting the support that Valve wants, and then there's again the bad press thing. So I feel like these are many reasons why Counter-Strike isn't as big as it can be or wants to be. And that's why Valve has been kind of turning a blind eye to its development, because there hasn't been a large Counter-Strike update in a while. Which, to be fair, there's a tournament coming. You don't want to change the meta before a large tournament, but even so, Dota 2 undergoes drastic meta changes all the time, and then you don't see that in Counter-Strike.
That's just the nature of how that game works with balancing characters.
Oh, that's true.
If you balancing guns all the time in Counter-Strike would be insane, because there's not 100 guns. There's only there's 30 or 40.
Yeah,
if that. Yeah.
It's and Counter-Strike. Actually, no, Dota's been around for a long time too.
Yeah, both have been. Counter-Strike I feel like Counter-Strike's been around longer. I think. Because Dota was a Warcraft 3
Warcraft
mod.
3, I don't know.
I don't know how. I can't date Warcraft 3. I feel that Dota started in the 21st century and Counter-Strike was before that. I know Counter-Strike was before that, but I'm pretty sure Dota started in the 21st century.
Taylor, question.
Answer.
Do Dota tournaments go through as much doxing as...
Or DDoSing,
CS:GO?
you mean? DDoSing?
I mean doxing. Well, I mean, that's how they shorten it. Does it go through as many
Doxing's
issues?
different than doxing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, doxing is finding all the personal information of someone.
All right. Do online competitive Dota games go through as much DDoSing as online CS:GO?
Absolutely. I could answer that for Taylor, but Taylor, you could answer that.
Sure.
Oh, okay, then. So it also has a skin issue. So
No,
it's just Valve.
Actually, to elaborate on that, Max, because you actually addressed something. The first few days of the international were plagued by huge DDoS issues. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Taylor, did you know much more about that? I'm not sure.
That's about all I know.
Yeah, they were really big delays and that's at a major tournament too. And they're getting DDoSed, which actually I don't really understand, Taylor, because do you understand it either? Because I assumed that they were playing LAN offline and then they were just streaming.
The week before there was an online qualifier.
Oh, okay.
That's probably where that was happening.
No, because it was at the event.
Maybe it was interrupting the broadcasting or something. So I have no idea.
I'm not sure. But yeah, it's the first few days of
deal.
Yeah. That's another thing to worry about in esports.
Not for all of them, but yeah.
Oh right, Smash I guess is not a really big issue.
Fighting games, you don't play competitively online. You have to play in person if you want to do competitive.
Yeah, it's not just on LAN or anything. You are sitting next to your opponent.
The same console on the same TV.
I feel like that
intimate.
I just feel like that's a lot more exciting in terms of having your opponent right next to you, because you just get a ton of banter and all that.
I
always knew you were a fraud.
I'd love to see the LAN tournaments be organized so that the teams sit head to head, right next to each other.
A lot of them do, and
small tournaments that happens.
Grassroots.
and I think we mentioned this in a previous podcast, Ravenstorm, but there's like, I know for Counter-Strike you can't really do that because there's a trick to be played where if you flash the enemy team, the screen will light up and then it'll show on their face.
You can see their faces bright white.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
But isn't
genius.
it awesome?
It's so clever. I think it's just very
specific
clever.
Thing.
Yeah, I think that's super clever.
It is, and I figured there would be some reason that it's not done, but it's just that's such a shame.
I prefer booths anyways, but did you guys see the booths for the international?
No.
They looked insane. There was like giant octagon things. I'm not even joking. It was cool.
What?
The booths, where the players like are playing in little rooms with like windows in it, so spectators could see outside, but it blocks sound. And like it's like a giant stage, and like they're in like a little it's like a fish tank.
They got a little costume. Yeah,
Not
that actually does sound really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's to not to
Futuristic.
distract the players, and also if the players hear the crowd yelling out and the players don't know what's going on, that means they know the other team is getting the lead, so could give
The psychological advantage.
yeah.
And like
I
there's
see what
even in-game advantages too, because I remember in DreamHack 2014, the player when two of the teams were playing, and Counter-Strike when two of the teams were playing Dust 2, do you know how like there'd be a guy who would pick middle with the sniper rifle, and like he'd try to shoot through the door and then maybe try to hit someone through the door.
Yeah.
The crowd would cheer, which would confirm that one of the teammates got hit. And then if the players hear that, that's very valuable information. They say there's one guy very, very low on health on that site, in that
Let's
area.
go there.
Yeah. So that's another reason why booths are really important. I think that concludes our esports section. And do you guys know any other cool esports news that came out?
You should play the sound effect again.
I won't, to spare our ears and our listeners.
we don't have an outro for that yet.
Yeah.
Okay, not esports, but I do have something to say to Ravenstorm about the Hasbro thing.
What's up?
Okay, so when you said like how
Hasbro? Valve is Hasbro?
In which Valve makes good games and Hasbro doesn't make good toys. Like I had a friend who was, if not is, crazed about Transformers. And do you know how the Transformers toys look like over in Japan compared to here for the same price?
Probably amazing.
Ours looks like shit. Like ours looks like those little teeny tot cheap plastic shit toys. Well, over there the paint job makes the thing look like it's made out of metal. So
no,
thanks,
Hasbro is
Hasbro.
not a quality brand, I guess.
If you want yourself a good Optimus Prime, you have to import it.
Imported Optimus Primes.
They steal our jobs and then our Optimus Prime.
I didn't really know the term. I didn't really know an umbrella term to use for game forge, game foundry. What do they? How does one go about saying that?
Developer. Oh.
Game company.
Game developer.
Like in a traditional sense, like how they have Monopoly and like they don't develop these games, but they sell them. They distribute them. It's
Publisher.
Yeah. Okay. Game publisher. Yeah, I guess so.
Or Portal. Well, I mean, not that kind of Portal, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I guess I don't have that much news this week. We were kind of short on news this week. Although I thought there was more, but I guess
We had
not.
good discussion. So
Yeah. I guess we'll close out that soon then. With what we're playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, what are you guys up to? Let's start with Max. Got anything new?
Going to be starting that Dead Space video thing again. Seems that the last video was recorded April, so Jesus Christ, I got a lot of catching up to do. The only game I've been playing lately was Warframe because the new update. Have I already talked about this, or have I not?
No.
Okay. New updates. Parkour's 2.0. Basically, the movement system has been revamped, slightly slower than the original system, but more control. You feel like a super-powered space ninja, finally. It feels like how the game was back during the old closed beta. So,
what is Warframe?
Space ninjas.
Shark space ninjas.
No.
You're not gonna even try and explain the game to him. He's shark space ninjas and call it a day.
Only one of them actually looks like a shark. The rest of them don't. Okay, well, for one thing, none of them have eyes. We're not lore-wise. We don't even know if they're actually human. So yes, space ninjas. What?
No. Just explain the gameplay mechanics.
Explain the gameplay mechanics.
The deep lore.
I love lore.
Well, and then you're going to enjoy the game. Third-person shooter. Third-person shooter with wall running, wall jumping, and mostly grind. The whole point of the game, pretty much, if you remove the lore and all that, you grind away, level up your weapon. Just so you could get a better weapon, and which you grind away to get the materials for an even better weapon.
Is it PvP
Basically,
or?
It's what's that sound? It's PvE. There is a PvP mode which is fairly balanced, but that's not the main thing. PvE is the whole point of the game.
What's that?
What?
Player versus enemy. Player versus enemy.
Meaning
it's co-op.
AI.
Oh.
Co-op against AI.
And it's squad based. It's you're meant to be playing as a group of 4 people, or with this new or one of the recent raids 8 people. So it's mostly grind. Also the new update added oceans to the planet of Uranus. So Uranus is deep and wet. And that's about it. What else have you guys been playing?
I can hear the smile on your face, Max.
Can you
hear the smile on your face?
Can you hear the deep? My palm is in my face.
Can you hear
This
the
is
disappointment in
the
my
disappointment.
voice?
Disappointment.
The palm's in my mouth. You hear it?
Yes, I hear it.
Taylor, what have you been
I've
playing?
been playing Centris.
What is Centris,
Anyone know
Taylor?
what Centris is?
What is Centris, Taylor?
Centris is a musical puzzle game. It's like a sequencer, but it's designed to be like a puzzle game. You guys know?
That's interesting.
That's kind of cool.
It's more puzzle than sequencer. I was really mostly looking for a sequencer. And it's so far I played like a little over an hour. It's really trying to wrap my mind around it to actually make any good music at all has not worked out.
Nice.
The puzzles themselves are like really simple, and you're supposed to like have some fun, cleverly like making your own music while creating the puzzle. It's basically just putting different notes in different spots is all the puzzle is. So it's really simple. It's made by a lady that I'm a big fan of, so I mostly bought it to support her because she's a cool person.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Samantha Coleman.
What does she do? What else has she done?
She's just appears in a bunch. She's just a personality. She's just an indie developer that just like her personality. She appears in a bunch of like podcasts I listen to and stuff.
That's cool.
This is a strange looking game. Like
it's just a circle, yeah.
Circle. I don't even know how you play it from what the footage I'm looking at.
Yeah, it took me honestly like 25 minutes to even figure out to beat the first puzzle because it's just like I'm hitting all these buttons, things are happening. I won. Okay, and then it's just kind of moving on like that.
It's just so different from your usual game.
Yeah, I've never played anything like it. I'm gonna play more, and hopefully I want to create some interesting music and share it with the podcast at some point.
Cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool, actually.
An actual original game.
Before we get to Ravenstorm, because I know Ravenstorm wants to talk about something he's been playing. Although, you've been playing anything else today? Before we move
that's it.
Okay.
Cool, yeah.
Other than Hearthstone, Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Apart from Counter-Strike, I got back into Deus Ex Human Revolution. This is my third time starting the game because the first time I started and I was like, all right, this is cool, and then I kind of like dropped off and I was like, crap, I have things to do. And then second time I was like, all right, let's try it again. And then I started and I got pretty far. I finished the first mission, and then I was going around about to start the second mission, and then I realized, and then I bought the Director's Cut edition. I'm like, all right, can I import my save into Director's Cut? No, I can't. So this is my third time starting. I mean, I probably talked about it before, but it's good. I like Deus Ex, so I like Cyberpunk, so, and
Nice.
Deus Ex is like the premier Cyberpunk game.
Did you ask for it?
I never
Did you
asked
play
to
the
start the
original?
game. I have not. I've heard it's phenomenal, though. I really should, but I hate to sound so like shallow, but it's so hard to play
go
old
back.
games because of the graphical fidelity.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And gunplay.
Well, I mean, it's easy to do. It's easy to do really old games because like 2D, not a problem, but 3D, it's kind of hairy.
Yeah.
Although like stylistic old games, like I guess Wind Waker would count. It's fine, because I mean, it doesn't depend on graphical fidelity as much as art style. And the art style is kind of it's easier to hold on to.
So anything that looks cartoony, anything that looks fantastical and doesn't even try to be realistic is going to age much better than something that's trying to be absolutely realistic.
Right. Yeah, I think it's because if everything looks like art, if every frame can look like art in some way, then I think that's gonna age well. Like Mario aged very well. But you know, Mortal Kombat, you can't go back and play old Mortal Kombat games. You can't go back and play GoldenEye 007. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that was a good game, but just can't.
Well, like Mortal Kombat, like God, the time in which people use actual footage for games.
Yep. Sprites. Good job.
Okay, so that's what I've been playing. I am currently installing. Well, not now. I paused it because of the podcast, but I'm currently installing the Star Citizen dogfighting module. It's free to play for the next week or so. So I'll test that out. See what.
How many gigabytes is that?
It's 25. It's absolutely massive. I downloaded it at school because my internet at school is ridiculously fast. I don't know if I've sent you guys a picture, but the Star Citizen servers, Cloud Imperium Games' servers, they keep up. They're the one server I've seen keep up with the download speeds at my school. I was downloading 60 megabytes a second at one point.
Oh, envy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was using it today to load up download all my cloud data, because I have a ton of cloud data to download at school. So that's what I spent today at school doing while I was at work. I just had it running in the background, downloading stuff. It took a while. But yeah, so I'll be trying that out, and then that's what I've been playing. So
Nice.
Ravenstorm, what have you been playing?
All right, great game. I see a lot of potential in it. Rocket League.
Oh, this is something I want to play.
My younger brother picked it up. I didn't even know about this game until like literally 4 days ago. My younger brother picked it up because he'd wanted to play it for a while, and I am absolutely just charmed by this game. Okay, so here's what so it's a game where it's basically soccer. Okay, you can have solo duel, so it's like you versus someone. You can have doubles where it's 2v2. Standard is 3v3, and then there's optional chaos match for casual, which is 4v4. So you have these little RC cars almost, and you zip around this ring, and you have rockets strapped to the back of your car, and you can like maneuver through the air with them, and it's pretty hard. The thing I really like about this game is that it isn't so much like a sports game like FIFA, where you have your buttons and stuff are processed through the set of rules, and it feels like you're speaking a very specific language to the game. This has really familiar controls. It's, right trigger is accelerate, left trigger is decelerate, you have X is like power slide, and like it's very familiar. It feels like driving almost any game vehicle in mainstream games for the past like 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
and it's a physics environment, really fun physics environment, very colorful, and it has a lot of room for skill. Players who have been playing longer, who have better control of their cars, definitely do better. And there's a lot of it really shows when you put effort into the game.
Interesting.
There's also a teamwork element, which is very interesting. It's team based, and you can do Skype calls or TeamSpeak to communicate with your team. They don't have an in-game voice or anything.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but still, I've had the chance to play against a couple teams who were clanning together, and it was really fun to watch them play. They had some really just amazing plays.
Nice.
It's cool.
Yeah. I've been meaning to pick it up, but it's kind of expensive. It's like $20.
It's worth it. Honestly, this game is going to get a lot bigger and a lot better.
Yeah, it's picked up by ESL.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Well, yep. ESL picked it up.
I didn't even know that.
But it's worth noting that ESL has also picked up AVA, which is a Korean free-to-play FPS from back in the free-to-play Renaissance. Not the Renaissance, more like the Dark Ages, where there were very few free-to-play games. Right. And the ones that did kind of were really bad and pay to win. AVA was a little bit better, but not by much.
Actually, I would considering I was one who played free-to-play games to hell. I would say it was much better than anything else at the time.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, AVA.
No longer.
It was kind of like a Counter-Strike clone, Counter-Strike Call of Duty clone. So if ESL could pick that up, they could pick up any game up. But that being said, I feel like Rocket League has a lot more potential to be a esport than.
It's just such a familiar format. It takes a lot of archetypes that we're familiar with, and it works with console controllers the best. You don't play it with a mouse and keyboard. I think it's split screen. I haven't been able to get it split screen yet because I don't have two controllers of the same sort.
Okay.
But you can play split screen.
I can play split screen, and that's something that I honestly miss from a lot of games.
Oh.
Back in the day.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we talked about it. Did we talk about it last week? Where
we've had
Call of Duty split screen,
yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, Call of Duty's the new Call of Duty's gonna have split screen on PC.
Nice.
Which is really nice. And I keep pushing DICE to put it on Battlefront, but they seem less than receptive to that.
I heard they're not including a campaign mode. What the fuck is that about?
Okay, so
well,
excuse me.
You want to talk
Max?
about
No, Max, you can go ahead.
Holy.
All right. Well, basically, DICE said from the studies they have done or have seen, most people don't really buy those games for the single player, like Call of Duty. It's a lot of people we know have never even touched a campaign. It's 100% multiplayer for them.
Because they're bad. They're not written well. The thing is, with a Star Wars game, it would have to be written well, and they know that. It would be expensive to hire the people to do this.
And that's why DICE thought, well, let's see. A lot of people just buy these games for the multiplayer. So why spend the money and effort for a single player that a lot of people won't play, and not just pour all of our efforts into making a good multiplayer game? That's basically what they're trying to do with the upcoming Battlefront.
Okay, well, I think they should just... We've waited for a long time for this game.
True.
What's to say I would wait another year for a damn good campaign.
EA's investors won't.
Yeah, EA's investors definitely.
Okay, well, that's an unfortunate thing, but I think that they say, oh, the studies show they don't play single player. It's because those single player games suck.
Yeah,
the campaigns suck. Have you played Battlefield Bad Company 2? That was an exceptionally good single player campaign.
That was a decent single player campaign. Battlefield 3, bad,
terrible.
Battlefield 4 also bad.
I would not play. I tried to play the BF3 campaign. It was too boring. Couldn't do it.
It's pretty boring, very boring.
But Bad Company 2, I played through it twice.
I played
good.
I played through the Bad Company 2 campaign multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's good stuff.
Screw saying, oh, it's not good. It's just because they don't. It's because Call of Duty doesn't focus on single player because their whole audience is multiplayer. Okay,
and they used to have a good single player.
They just include a single player campaign. It's a token thing, and that just discourages people from, playing the single player because it's no good. It's a vicious cycle that they're just like, oh, hey, this is happening. It's because of what you're doing that this is happening.
The one thing I will say about Call of Duty single player is that it does have some pretty impressive set pieces. Like one of the cool ones I remember from Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was you were riding on a horse while like shooting people, and I was like, okay, this is really silly, but also kind of interesting and cool to do.
Well,
but that's it though. There's nothing more than that.
But the thing is, though, like they do have experience with single player. Even up to the first Modern Warfare, single player was actually the main thing of Call of Duty. It's just after the success of Modern Warfare's multiplayer did they switch fully over, focusing onto the multiplayer aspect. Before then, like the story and such of the old Call of Duty, that was basically what sold the old ones.
Max, you're road butting a bit there, but I feel like Call of Duty's kind of lost their way with campaigns.
My must be having some issues. Everyone's roboting to me as well.
Yeah, you guys were going in and out real bad there.
Yeah.
Must have been. Wait, was it TeamSpeak or was it?
I don't know. Some part of the connection.
Yeah, can't do much
Got
about that.
to be dealt with.
Yeah. Such is the life of a TeamSpeak server. I wonder if there's a podcasting TeamSpeak server I could rent. I would. Okay. I think that about closes out what we have.
Yep.
Anything else you've been consuming and producing, guys?
Not much.
Movies watching, shows watching, books
We
reading.
can talk about JD Salinger.
Dude, I want to hear whatever you have to say about that after we close out.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the Deadpool trailer?
I did.
I don't like Deadpool, and I don't get why everyone loves Deadpool.
Okay, the reason why the mainstream likes Deadpool is because of his memes and whatnot. The reason why comic book fans like Deadpool is because he started as a tragic character that happened to be funny, and was crazy enough to actually believe that he was inside a comic book. Yeah, so two different groups, two different reasons for liking Deadpool.
But he's just funny.
He's meta about it. It's just there's one character that's meta about it in the entire universe, and it's him.
It's just
humor is subjective.
The fourth wall breaking stuff really just doesn't. It's just too much.
Oh yeah,
I love Airplane and stuff, like that movie and all stuff like that. All the Zucker brother movies, because they break the fourth wall and they're just really weird, funny movies. But it's not constantly talking to the camera.
Okay, but
Deadpool's constantly where you're there.
That's the Deadpool that the mainstream likes. Old school Deadpool didn't break the fourth wall nearly as much as that. It's mostly the meme pool that does that. So hopefully the movie goes more old school than that. But
that trailer is really stupid.
Excuse me.
I thought it was okay.
Does it have who's playing it? Is it
Ryan Reynolds.
Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds. All right,
guess what? They made a Green Lantern joke in the trailer.
Yeah, they should have. As they should have. Everyone should make a Green Lantern joke because that movie was a $200 million joke, and it needs to be made.
Oh Christ!
In the trailer, he shoots through heads of 3 people. Isn't that crazy?
He got a triple cola.
They didn't treat it as crazy. They just treat it as 3 guys getting shot in the head by a guy in red tights.
By one guy.
Yeah, by a guy in red tights.
Isn't it funny the stories we tell and the things we find amusing? Like that's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous.
What?
No, just think about it. Think about how, like, if we could have imagined any story to tell, but someone decided to make a movie out of this guy, Green Lantern.
Oh. Poor guy.
Oh my god.
They could have computer generated anything, anything at all with that budget.
Yeah.
But they computer
You're just
generated
mad that you
green
spent
light.
money on that. That's what it sounds
I never
Damn.
watched it. I never watched it.
Why would you do
God,
that
I
to
don't
yourself?
want to watch it.
It's bad. I'm sorry. Sorry. I didn't see the trailer, that's why.
Why doesn't Marvel make animated movies like DC does it all the time? Why doesn't Marvel? I don't know. That's a
It's
question
not the
for
same
another
box
day.
office.
Yeah.
Hey, Spider-Man makes more money than all superheroes combined, so
Boderman.
I don't believe you.
I
that
can't.
is true.
Really?
No
Like,
way.
is that just all? Is that just nearly all of that just old Spider-Man and old Spider-Man merch?
In history, if not, okay, if I am actually exaggerating, he still makes more than, say, the Avengers and the mainstream DC combined.
You're talking about
I'm not
every
talking.
Spider-Man product?
I'm talking about the franchises. The Spider-Man franchise makes more than all the other comic book franchises.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I don't believe you.
I could see.
And,
I mean,
like-
I could see how popular Spider-Man is, but
Like, more than double the popularity of Avengers.
what?
Let's see.
Because
Which is more popular than all of DC, and most of the popularity of DC is mostly Batman because
Dark Knight, yeah.
because what is it? The
Dark
Justice
Knight.
League is just
Oh.
Batman's bitches. So
Okay.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, those are them be fighting words. Come on, Superman.
like there are a
Fight now.
ton of there were a ton of Spider-Man cartoons and games. Other superheroes don't get that much stuff.
I guess I could see that, but the movies were bad. The latest movies were not that good.
Oh well, we're gonna
I
get
don't think
another
there's
Spider-Man
ever been a
reboot.
good Spider-Man movie.
How many times do they have to keep rebooting Spider-Man? They're like
Until it's successful.
they're like my old computer, where no matter how many times I reboot it, it's still slow and crappy.
Well, this time he's
perfect.
actually going to be played by a teenager. I don't know how to feel about that.
Child actors suck, but Tobey Maguire also sucks, so it's okay.
Game of Thrones does a decent job using child actors.
That's because you killed the
say.
child actors. Well, not the actors, just the children they play.
Just the not
think that went without
not the
saying,
characters,
Max.
just the child actors that are playing them.
Characters are still alive.
Actually,
The
I will tell you.
actors
I will tell you
super
right
dead.
now that there are no worse actors than a child actor in a soap opera.
Oh god.
Like, I was watching it, and I'm pretty sure
Why
the
are you
kid.
doing this to yourself?
I was just passing by my dad watching TV, and he was just surfing channels. But yeah, like the kid really sounded like he was reading off a script. And have you ever like done those like readings in class where you guys are reading
Yeah.
like, a book out
Oh
loud?
god.
I kind of tried to put some character in it, like at least make it sound readable. And then there's always people who just kind of just monotone. And just
Yeah.
kinda, the kid in the soap opera was the monotone kid.
God.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I try to add a little bit of variety to my voice.
Kindergarten Nightmares.
Kindergarten Nightmares. That's the title of this episode, by the way. I think before this devolves any further, I think it's almost time to close out. One last preview is that I finally ordered a pair of AKG K553s. I'll be giving you guys my impressions on it next week when it comes in.
Nice.
And then I'll have more to talk about for games and stuff. Hopefully we'll have time to play and all that. I'll have time to play and all that.
All right.
Oh, Shadowrun Hong Kong is coming out next week. So, yeah, you can expect to hear something about that from me if it comes out before the podcast gets uploaded and recorded.
Nice.
Okay, without further ado, if you want to follow Max, his YouTube channel link is in the description. In the description. But speaking of
Below.
subscriptions, please do subscribe. We appreciate it.
Nice.
This week's outro provided to you by Grant Webster, and also he was also using the background of that Esports intro. So be sure to check him out on SoundCloud. It's in the description as well. He's got some good music. So yeah, check him out. And if there's nothing else to say, thank you for listening. On behalf of Max, Ravenstorm, Taylor, and myself, we will see you next time.
Bye.